everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Atimuko of Afrolems, and I bring back to you another episode of the Business of Food series. So today we'll be talking about the business model canvas. I don't know if you've heard of it. If you haven't, well, welcome. But before we go any further, please hit the subscribe button, the like, comment, share. Anybody that you know is starting a food business, please make sure you share this series with them. I think they'll benefit a lot from it, the same way that you're going to benefit. All right, so let's get into the business of today. Now I'm going to try to split this video into two because it could be really long. The business model canvas has 9 parts. You have the value proposition, your key resources, your channels, your key partners, your customer segment, your customer relationship, your revenue stream, your cost structure. And if I'm missing anything else, I guess we'll delve into it. But today we'll address maybe 4 or 5, depending on the time that we have. And then for my second video, the second part of this video, I'd address the remaining segments of the business model canvas. So let's dive right in to the first. In thinking about your customer segment, there are a few questions that you need to ask yourself. Who are your customers? Are they mass market? Are they niche market? What do I mean by these? So mass market is when you're thinking, my product is for everybody. I don't really think there's any product that's for everybody in the same way. So different things or different items have different value propositions. So if I think about tea, even if it seems more mass market, may not be for everybody, if you know what I mean. Some people are actually coffee lovers, and if you sell them tea, no matter how much you sell it from now till tomorrow, they still wouldn't be as appreciative as if you sold coffee to them. So you need to kind of define who your target market is, and there are a few questions you need to ask yourself. Is it the age that you're thinking about? Is it the class of society? Is it gender you're thinking about? Is it the different things? So once you've written out who your customer is and you scoped it out, it kind of helps you have a better picture of how you should be speaking to them. Are you speaking to millennials? Are you speaking to Gen Zs? Are you speaking to baby boomers? With your product, you need to have your customer segment defined, and that way it helps you communicate that. The next segment we'll be talking about is customer relationship. What kind of relationship do you want to have with your customers? Now, different types of businesses require different touch points of relationships, especially with customers, especially in the food business. Now, if I think about a food delivery service and the type of relationship you'd have, let's say, I don't want to name any big names, but let's say you started a food delivery business, and maybe your type of business is that you're getting dishes from different restaurants or different other chefs around and delivering it to offices, to homes, and that's your own business model. What kind of relationship do you have with your customers? Are you sending emails once a month, once a day, at lunchtime? Do they get a text message from you instead? Do they see you on Instagram? Are you calling them to say, hey, you haven't ordered in a while? You kind of need to define those relationships, but those relationships are defined when you understand who you're dealing with. In defining your customer relationships, you also need to take into account the generational differences. Millennials, Gen Zs, baby boomers, very different. And in the way that you market to them is also really different. And in the way you structure your business model needs to be different to cater to them. Now you need to determine, like I said earlier, who your primary audience is and your secondary audience is, and that kind of helps you determine what kind of relationship you would have with them. Now, if I take baby boomers, for example, they would require a bit more help. They're not digital natives, and if your food business runs a very heavy digital strategy or business model, then you're going to need to take the extra step to reach out to the baby boomers. What I mean by that is they'll prefer phone calls. Yes, your business is mostly digital, but let's be honest, baby boomers need a phone call. They even need a physical visit. So you kind of need to determine your customer relationship also based off of the generation that you're targeting as your primary customer. Next one, value proposition. What value are you bringing with your business? You can't just start a business just because. You have to have a problem you're solving, the value you're bringing. You need to also define it, right? So sometimes your value proposition is newness. What do I mean by that? The fact that you're just a new business, you're new in the industry, new territory within the market, you're just new. When I started food blogging, there were a few other food bloggers, so I didn't really have newness going for me, but I had newness within the catering category going for me, because the other food bloggers were just kind of telling a story around Nigerian food, but I was also kind of telling a story around catering, right? So newness within that category helped. Customization, is that what your value proposition is to your customers? Are you customizing their experience? You're a private chef. Most people are these days. So what does that mean for you coming into the food business? Coming in after you've gone to culinary school to say, this is my next level, this is the new thing I want to do. You have the big name chefs. How are you going to compete? Are you customizing experiences for the customers that you've met with or you're privileged to work for or work with? You need to figure out what that value proposition is. What bundles of products and services are you offering? So let's say you have bean flour and the ogi flour, the corn flour. How are you trying to push more sales, with your customers? So maybe you could do like a bundle where you buy one pack of the large bean flour and then get 50% off the ogi flour, because you know that those are complementary products. Or you could find somebody else that has a complementary product to you, because you don't always have to have the complementary products yourself. You find someone else that has that, partner with them and offer bundles to your customers. That's a way to add value to them. If you're making their lives easier, maybe you're a chef and your specialty is healthy cooking. That's you adding value to a set of customers. Again, remember, you've defined them, you've defined the type of relationship you have with them. This is the value that you're bringing to them. So you need to always have at the back of your mind that there are different levels of value that you would be adding to your customers' lives. The next step is key activities. What key activities does your value proposition require to come to life, to bring your business model to life? Are you a problem solver? We've mentioned a few business options where you're a food delivery business for diabetic patients. You're solving a problem. Or are you an experienced curator? There's a lot of private chefs that curate the experience. Okay, I'm sorry I did that. But yes, is that what you're doing? Is that what your key activity is? And in that way, you're now defining, okay, to make sure that I'm curating a unique experience for my customers, these are the things I need to do. That's how you think about your key activities. But in your key activities in your business in general, maybe you require a factory, maybe you're manufacturing products to put on the shelf. Setting up your factory and that production process is your key activity. I'll be leaving a link to the business model canvas down below, so you start to see a screenshot of how all of this is going to work. Your customer segment, your customer relationship, the value you're providing, and then the key activities that your business needs to be doing. The next one we'll be talking about is your channels. How are you reaching your customers? Obviously, you've defined them through the customer segment portion of the business model canvas, and you've said, okay, maybe my customers are millennials or Gen Zs or baby boomers. How can you reach them? What channels are they currently on? Are they reading magazines? Are they reading newspapers? Are they mostly online? Are they watching videos on YouTube? How exactly can you reach them? Once you've determined who they are, you start to study their patterns and start to study their behaviors and say, you know what? This is where they are and this is how to speak to them effectively. Now, if I take Facebook for millennials, depending on the spend power that they have. Some of them have moved on from Facebook, they're now on Instagram. So maybe that's the best way to reach them. Some of them are, depending on the type of business that you have, if it's more talkative and you need to have more conversations with people, especially within the food space, then maybe Twitter is for you. So you need to kind of be thinking about, who are my customers, where are they, and how can I reach them? That's how you think about channels. Today is story time. I'm going to be telling you a story that happened to me a few years ago. it was a bit nerve-wracking that day. So I had an order. Somebody had ordered food for a party, and they had asked for a bunch of things: jollof rice, puff puff, chin chin, like all kinds of things. And they had asked for Scotch eggs. Now at the time I lived in Toronto, and sometimes finding sausage meat was a bit of a challenge because I guess in Canada Scotch eggs are not a big thing, so nobody really had like the satis type of sausage meat. So anyway, what I always used to do was get like sausages that you could take out the sausage meat from the casing, season it, and then mold my Scotch eggs with that, and it always came out really nice. So this particular day I had sent someone to help me pick up the sausage meat. I described it to her and she's like, okay, no problem. And so she came back with it and I didn't pay attention to it. So when it was time to, like, I had like 1 hour left to finish the Scotch egg before the person came to pick it up. And so I was squeezing out the sausage meat. I was like, something is off with this. I don't know what it is, but something is off with this. And then I molded my sausage meat on the egg, rolled it in breadcrumbs, and then attempted to deep fry in hot oil. And the minute I put it in, everything exploded, and it started exploding to the ceiling. Had to quickly turn it off. I was just panicking, and then the person called me and said, hey, I'm almost at your house. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And I looked at the pack again, and I realized it was some kind of, it was sausage, but it wasn't the sausage meat that was basically what I was using for Scotch egg, or what I was supposed to use for Scotch eggs. I was so pissed, but I couldn't be pissed at the person because I could have done my groceries myself. When the people came, I had to apologize. I'd asked them to refund and they're like, oh no, don't worry, it happens. They were so understanding. And luckily for me, their party wasn't far away from my house. So I promised to make them something else and bring it over when I was done. And they were so appreciative of that. The fun things nobody ever tells you about. If you have more crazy stories, crazier than mine, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to read it and laugh. In this food business, it's really hard sometimes, and I'd love to read from you guys. And that's it for today. The next video, I'll be talking about the remaining 4 items from the business model canvas that I didn't cover today. I hope you find it useful, and please, please, please like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel. Let other foodies that are thinking of starting their business or have started and need a refresher course of some sort, let them subscribe to my channel. Share this video with them. Please, please, please give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in the second.